Welcome to the Her Story Circle podcast, the podcast that brings you the extraordinary tales of everyday women who are changing the world. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and I'd like to acknowledge traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. Every week, we dive into the lives, challenges, and triumphs of women from all four corners of the globe. We're here to inspire, enlighten, and connect, sharing stories that uplift and empower. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and join us as we explore the incredible journeys of women shaping our future. This is Her Story, where every woman's voice matters. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Story Circle. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of yet another fascinating woman. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, and share your story with us today.
Hey, Gertrude, good to see you. My name is Michelle Etheridge. I am in Richmond, Virginia, here in the United States, and I am just really excited about talking to you today. I'm going to tell you a story, but I first want you to imagine that you're 10 years old. You're looking down at a cardboard box and a roll of packing tape, and you're boxing up your entire life. And you're saying goodbye to your best friend, you're moving to a new state, and you're walking into a new school with a pit in your stomach for the fourth time. Now, at this point, I had a lunchbox in one hand and a "Hi, I'm new here" speech in the other. And I was just hoping that someone would let me sit with them at lunch instead of eating my sad little sandwich all by myself. Now, that was my reality. Being the new kid wasn't just a yearly event. It was my military brat life. And what felt like a curse at the time became my greatest superpower. It forced me to learn how to adapt, connect, and find my place. I didn't realize it then, but these constant restarts taught me some amazing skills: resilience, the ability to connect quickly, and an understanding that belonging wasn't just staying in one place, but about creating a place wherever you are. Now, years later, all of these skills came to the forefront. I started my career in accounting, thinking that was a safe, logical choice. But numbers on the spreadsheet felt lifeless. It just didn't suit my personality. So I used the resilience and the aversion to staying in one place for a time and reinvented myself, not for the last time. And I started searching for my professional place. And that led me on a wild career safari. I became a marketing expert, loved it, but eventually realized I needed more from my work. I became a graphic designer, same story, then an event planner. Now, if I was trying to find a career that had the best snacks, I would have stopped there. But that wasn't it. My resume looked less like a professional trajectory and more like a career corn maze. Meanwhile, I was spending a lot of time in the business networking scene. And eventually, I came to understand that traditional networking was exhausting. It was forced conversations, constant exchange of business cards, repetitive, transactional, and honestly, often felt non-inclusive. It felt like those meetings were more about ticking boxes than building relationships. And I swear, I was one bad coffee biz chat from deleting my LinkedIn and becoming a monk. So I started doing things differently. When I went to those networking meetings and I'm standing there in front of a group of semi-strangers, I started using that same energy that I had when I was a kid, when I had to make new friends in new places every year. And something magical happened. people started putting down their phones. They were leaning in to hear not just what I was going to say, but how I was going to say it. And that was a moment of realization. It wasn't just about becoming confident. It was the understanding that I had a unique voice and that people genuinely wanted to hear it. It was in those rooms that I truly discovered the difference between transactional networking and intentional connection. Now, this epiphany led to a coffee shop summit with my friend Amy Gorelick. We were done spending our money. We were done spending all of our energy on networking that just wasn't working. So after a few hours, we had a mind map so big, we jokingly titled it Rule the World, because apparently coffee shop ambitions had no chill. Because when we start global domination, we do it over lattes. And from that, Women in Business RVA was born. That time we threw away the old rule book. First, we threw away the idea that women should have to pay to find their community. We decided our community wasn't going to be about money. It would be about generosity and shared expertise. We envisioned a free and inclusive community where relationships came first, transactions came last, and every woman in the room had a voice, and a voice that mattered. We didn't just start another networking group. We were rewriting the rules entirely. But our philosophies alone weren't enough. We needed a practical way to break old habits. We had to answer the core question: how do you get a room full of brilliant, busy women to stop the awkward small talk and start having conversations that matter? You can't rely on bumping into someone at the checkout line at Trader Joe's. While definitely a strategy, not a very scalable one. So that's why we built Connect, our own networking tool that actually engineers serendipity. You know, serendipity are those unexpected connections that lead to new opportunities, collaborations, and friendships. No more surface level small talk, no more transactional exchanges. Instead, we created a system that helps women dive deeper, connect authentically, and build the kind of relationships that actually move business forward. So suddenly, the goal wasn't to sell to each other. It was to serve each other. It instantly created pathways for real collaboration, celebration, and problem solving. We didn't just tell women to be authentic. We gave them the tool to do it effectively and with intention. Now, out of this experience, we learned a bold but simple truth. Community is the new currency in business. That shift from the transactional to the intentional networking is what turns contacts into collaborators, conversations into opportunities, and strangers into a thriving community where everyone rises together. I want to share some practical takeaways with you. So when you go to your next networking event, I want you to open your circle. Women tend to close each other out of conversations because we stand eye to eye and close together. Next time, open your space so others feel welcome to join in and introduce themselves. Remember people intentionally. Jot down information about those you meet. That's going to help you remember them later. And it also will let them know that you were listening. This is easy. On their business card, on a notepad, mark where you met them, when you met them, where you met them. Add interesting information that can be a great conversation starter for later. Next, this is important. Follow up with authenticity. Following up feels specific and focused, and it helps build relationship instead of, "Hi, Sarah, we met at Women in Business. I'd love to get you on a calendar for 15 minutes. Let's synergize our assets and circle back to some of those low-hanging fruit. What time works best for me to pick your brain? Oh my gosh, that email should have come with its own spam filter. It's the business equivalent of a guy at a party who brought an acoustic guitar. You just want it to stop. So I'm going to give you an authentic version. Hi, Sarah. I've been thinking about your hiring challenge and found an article on culture-driven hiring that reminded me of our conversation. And I'm attaching it to this email. Talk to you soon. Now that shows that you listened and that you're offering something without asking for something. Being authentic opens the door for business naturally. In closing, I want you to remember how I started my story, moving regularly, having to make new friends, and what it felt like constantly to be the new kid. That became my superpower. It's like being a networking superhero, except instead of a cape, I have really good small talk skills and an unhealthy knowledge of icebreaker questions. Let's talk about to where I am now, telling you about intentional networking. Reinvention and intentional networking are two sides of the same coin. They're the same story, but from two different perspectives. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to leave this room, identify one person to who you want to reconnect with authentically. Not to sell them something, not to ask for a favor, but to genuinely serve them in some way. Because when we stop asking, what can I get? And how can we grow together? That's when real transformation happens. Because remember, community isn't just nice to have, it's the new currency in business and life. Thank you.
Wow, Michelle, thank you so much for coming online and sharing your story with us today.
I'm so excited to see you, Gertrude. Thank you.
An incredible journey you have been on. It's fascinating to see how your childhood experience of moving from place to place helped you build this resilience. So you describe yourself as the new kid growing up. How did that constant moving shape your confidence and your resilience?
Well, you have to be confident. You're walking into a new place, a new neighborhood, a new school, everything, and you just have to walk in and realize that, well, I'm here now, so somebody has to be my friend. Who's it going to be? And and then you grow up with that. But one of the things about moving so often is you become adaptable. That change isn't a negative. So many people I know who've lived in the same place, when you tell them they have to make this big change, their life just becomes this ball of stress. And I don't know what to do. But when you've spent a life like mine, somebody says change and you're like, give it to me. Yes. I've been here too long already. It's been half hour, but I became adaptable and I didn't realize it for so long that was an actual skill that people didn't have. Who knew?
That is just fantastic. Now, what was the turning point that made you realize that traditional networking wasn't serving women?
Well, I did a lot of traditional networking, those biz chats, as we call, sit down, especially with men, but it happened with women, but especially with men. As a woman, you sit down, you have about 45 minutes and they talk, and it's about 45 minutes and you haven't spoken and you're trying, and they're like, oh, I gotta go. I hope I talk to you soon. And you're like, oh, okay. And that happened a lot. And that's when Amy and I sat down, because we both had been complaining about it. And that's how it started. This was it. That was the last time. I couldn't do it again.
That is just fascinating. Now, tell us about that conversation in the coffee shop moment when you and your partner sketched out this new vision. What did you see that others didn't?
We sat down, and at first it's what is everything we hate about what we're doing? Well, one, we're paying so much money to be in all of these different networking groups. They could be all women networking groups or mixed groups. It didn't matter. They cost a lot of money.
Yes.
But they weren't doing business. They were more social events, and maybe you'd have somebody talk about what you did or something, but they weren't really passing business. And when we started, that's really, I think, what kicked us in.
Yeah.
We're going to do this for free. Why do you have to pay? And these are Amy's words. That is the hill we will die on for our networking group. We will not charge women to meet other professionals and grow their business. And that kind of started it. And then we were like, oh my goodness, we need a mastermind group. We're going to need a networking tool, and we're going to need workshops. And it just kept growing. And our mind map was, I wish I had it with me, so enormous and out of control. And we said, this is ruling the world when we're done. And then we thought, okay, let's start here with it. and slowly move out and see what happens. And it's been wonderful.
That's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. Now, intentional networking is your signature concept. How do you define it? Break it down for us.
I really define it as shifting from the what can I get out of a conversation into how can we help each other. And I truly believe that when that conversation changes from how is this person going to give me work? What are they going to do for me? It's going to accelerate growth. People are good, that it becomes the community I talked about. Yeah. And when people feel a sense of community and they feel a sense of connection, then they're going to want to do business with you. They're going to tell others about you. Why? Because you are working for them. You're helping them grow their business and never asking for anything back. They just want to give back. Yeah. That is what intentional networking is.
Oh, I love it. It just becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy by the sound of it.
Yeah, so, not unlike your story,
That's true. So what is the difference between transactional networking and collaborative networking?
Transactional is when somebody goes in and they're set. It's, hey, this is my card. This is what I do. I see that, this would be a great collaboration. I'm ready to do business. I've got, what is it that you need from me? Let's start. It's all about the money. When are we going to start? When are you going to pay me? But collaboration, you say collaboration, correct? Correct. Yes. Collaborating. That's where we think about, how can I help you grow? How can I introduce you to my community and put you in front of a great bunch of women who are looking to meet women just like you who do what you do. Maybe they can't do business with you, but they know somebody who they can introduce you to.
Yes.
It's not the money. We stopped being about money. It's the community. It's the new currency.
I love that. That is just beautiful. So, can you share a story where intentional networking created a breakthrough for someone in your community?
Oh, absolutely. I think we had I think she was in event planning, actually. She was in event planning, and what was it? I think that there were so many demands on what her contract was. People felt like it was they wanted to change your contract all the time or something like that. You know how it
Okay.
is. People go in and you give them your contract and they're like, well, if you change this, 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 and this, I'll do business with you. And
Yes.
she was really stressed. And during one of our serendipity meetings, that's what we call our free networking group, somebody overheard her and said, hey, I do this. I do project management and I have a contract that is so great. I've been through what you went through. I'm going to share it with you and we'll see how we can make it work for you.
Right.
And somebody else heard, because, we're a pretty tight group sometimes. And they were saying, why don't you frame it different when you hand somebody that contract? Frame it differently. Frame it as a way to protect their event's success and their
Oh.
budget. And that makes you a partner and not a vendor. So it was really that having somebody right there who was able to change that frame of mind and give
Yes.
you some advice. You have one who wants to show you what they use that really works. And then you had another lady who just change the way you present yourself. Be a partner with them and not a vendor. They won't ask for that. It was,
That is fascinating and such a simple, small little twist in,
community.
yeah, how you word and express yourself can make such a difference. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned, sorry to cut you off, that community is the new currency. So what does that look like in practice?
Well, it all goes back to helping each other. So when
Yes.
you help somebody, it becomes a multiplier. So I've helped somebody, and then that person adopts that mindset and they help somebody. And then that person who's understanding that your mindset was different coming in as how can I help you instead of what can I get from you? And it becomes that multiplier effect. And it creates opportunities for dozens of women, not just the two people standing right here. It
Yeah.
becomes something that just grows and others want to be a part of it. They want to
Yeah.
stop the what can you do for me attitude.
I love it. Wow. So how do women typically hold themselves back in networking spaces without even realizing it?
Oh gosh. So once we started these networking groups, and I didn't notice it beforehand, but once we
Yes.
started our women's serendipity meetings, I I really noticed that women were talking eye to eye and really close like, because that's how we are, women in general. We want that connection with each other really close. But
Yes.
what happens when you have two people who are looking at each other in the eye and talking? Do you feel comfortable breaking into that conversation? Because you feel like you're going to be interrupting, right?
Yes.
So
Yes, you do.
that's what women do. But when you go to another networking meeting and, there's a lot of men talk in a half circle. They're still looking at each other glancingly, not nonstop eye to eye, but it's an open circle where anybody can walk into the group, listen till they have an opportunity to say, hey, how are you? And
Yes.
people can constantly walk into it and it's open, but women close ourselves out. So I break it up. When they come to my meeting, I said, hey, I want you to meet as many women possible. If this is a conversation that needs to be had, if you're conducting business, hey, let's take that and walk over here and by all means do business. But if you want to network, open up, enjoy, allow others in. That's why you're here to meet new people.
Yes. Oh, I love it. I love it. Now, you created the Connect tool. How does it change the way that women build relationships?
Right. So we call it networking with intention, and the connect is our networking tool. So
Okay.
It starts with before you ever walk into a meeting. How many times did you book a chat with somebody and you got dressed and you drove there? You never thought about them beforehand till you looked on your calendar and remembered you were leaving. You get there and you spend however much time talking about your kids, your life, and then you have 5 minutes to actually do what you came to do.
Yes.
So we were we decided this has to change. There needs to be an intention. So we teach these ladies how to take this book and follow these instructions, learn about the person, go to LinkedIn. Who are their connections? Who would you love to meet? But don't just ask them who you want to meet. Look at your connections and see who would be great introductions and say, hey, I looked at my list and I think I have some great people I want you to meet. Do you know them? If not, I'd be so happy to introduce yourself. And then we also say, you basically know what they do. What kind of pain points are they having? How can you help them with that? What kind of pain points do you have that they can help with? What intention do you want to go into this meeting with? Don't show up at the door and just start saying blah, 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 blah. When you look at somebody and you say, I am so glad to be here, I've set the intention for today's meeting, and this is really how I'd love for it to go. And I'm excited to talk to you. They're going to look at you and think, wow, I respect this. And now I don't feel responsible for having to come up with something. She's already done all of this work. We provide, come up with questions. How can you help them? A list of people you can introduce them to. Make it about them. And it's intention. And then there's a
Yeah.
lot of other things that are in there, a lot of reflection. You should reflect after every meeting. Don't walk
Yeah.
away as if it happened and it's done.
Yeah.
Reflect on it. And then we have some proprietary things in there about what you should do next. And it's just intention. If you
Yeah.
really put it, people will respect you for going in there and being intentional.
I love it. That's absolutely awesome. I could talk to you forever on this subject. I'm going to end our interview with one last question, or maybe two. In the first one, I want to teleport you back into the past. If you could go back to the younger you and give yourself 3 nuggets of wisdom, especially when you started going into business, based on what life has taught you up until this point, what would those 3 nuggets of wisdom be?
Oh gosh. Well, I think the first one is to stop feeling like you have imposter syndrome. I felt as a child, I always felt confident, but as an adult, I lost that along the way. So that imposter syndrome set in, and so it took a while to figure out that. So I think that's really important. Secondly, enjoy moving, enjoy finding new things in life. That corn maze career trajectory, that's fine. Find your path. And sometimes you have to go through down many paths and get lost in the maze and hit a wall, have to turn around and find a new way to the exit. And embrace it. Embrace it. And gosh, what is the third nugget of wisdom? I might be done with my wisdom right now.
I love it. I love it. You shared so many nuggets of wisdom throughout the interview. Thank you so much, Michelle. It's really good to hear a fresh perspective on how women can connect and network. Your intention creates everything. In every conversation, every meeting, any opportunity you have to engage with someone new, your intention creates everything. That's what I've really taken away from this interview. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I love talking to you. I love that you've given me this opportunity. I love your story, and I love what you've done with your story. I think you've done it with great intention, and I'm just super glad that you invited me on today.
Well, I'm glad we met and you're now part of our tribe. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who tuned in. The Her Story Circle is not just a podcast. We're a social impact movement that brings you the stories and voices of women from all over the world. We share our stories to uplift you, to inspire you, to energize you, but most importantly, to take you from where you are now to where you're trying to go. So tune in again tomorrow when I interview yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And Michelle, thanks again for the interview.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye for now, everybody. Thank you for tuning into the Her Story Circle podcast. I hope today's story has inspired you to believe in the power of our stories and the difference you can make in the world when you use your voice. I'm Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a rich tapestry of diverse perspectives. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these stories with more listeners. Follow us on social media by looking for the Her Story Circle podcast for more updates. And join us tomorrow for another episode filled with courage, resilience, and empowerment. Remember, your story matters, and together we're building a stronger, more inclusive world. Until next time, keep making her story.